Ready. Good afternoon. I am Nicolette Hamilton. I'll be moderating this session. This session is for the Resiliency Think Tank students who have focused their efforts this semester on intersecting academic learning through community resource and community service projects. The session is going to be recorded. It is recording now. So we ask participants to turn off your videos and your audio during the presentation portion of this session. This helps protect the bandwidth and hopefully prevent any potential lagging issues from the videos that'll be shared. We have some great students that we're going to hear from. So let's get started with that. Our featured intern presenter today and student think tank member is Makira Lloyd. She was our intern research assistant and she's in the family science degree program. We also will have joining us today with a live Q&A session is Josiah Boyd, a student research assistant with the communications program, Amy Chapa, student research assistant with the family science program, and myself, Nicolette Hamilton. I'm a graduate research assistant and I'm with the counseling and development program at Lamar University. We will begin with Makara, who has prepared a presentation for us. And we can then ask some focus questions for her, and then we'll open it up to the think tank team in general. Makara, would you like to share your presentation?
Yes, let me do that. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Makara Lloyd. I am a spring 2026 intern with the Resiliency Think Tank. This semester, my focus was on community outreach and its relationship with unhoused individuals. The overview that I have here is just a quick little look through so that you can see what we're going to be talking about through this presentation. So it just has a couple of bolded topics that we're going to be getting into in the slides that we're about to see. So, first, we have my day in the life. So, the privilege with this internship is that it is hybrid work. Mondays and Wednesdays, we for sure have team meetings. These team meetings are 2 hours on average. This is where we discuss new business, unfinished business, new projects, and we also provide reflections on events and service learning projects that we have completed. This is also a safe space for me and my other coworkers to go ahead and brainstorm and just also provide our own needs assessments that we may have completed as well to say, I'm sorry, to bring it up in a way that's sort of like a pitch. So we can bring up something that we might have saw at one of the previous events that we were at, and we can build our own project based off of that with the help of Dr. White and our other coworkers as well. Every single day, you should be completing your call to actions. At the end of each team meeting, we complete these things called call to actions, where we basically list things that we are going to do. So on Mondays, our call to actions are going to be things that we're going to do from Monday until the next meeting on Wednesday. And on Wednesdays, our call to actions are going to be things that we're going to complete until the next meeting on the following Monday. So call to action tasks can be something regarding your project, or I am going to complete, um, I'm going to follow up with someone that we are working on a collaboration with, or taking the time to fold pocket pals, taking the time to work on the projects, ongoing projects, things like that. We also attend a lot of coalition meetings and we attend a lot of events. I put these specifically down because these are events that we do each month. So these are events that we attend regularly. So the coalition for the homeless is in a meeting that we regularly attend, as well as the Strong Families Coalition. Night Strike is always the first Friday of each month. So these are things that you can definitely look forward to and we plan for. You also complete tasks in office as directed by Dr. White. So we may come into the office and Dr. White might say, hey, I might need you to do some things in room 111, or hey, can you go ahead and take a look at this or organize this? So those are some things that you might complete as well in the day in the life of an intern. An intern. So, moving on to my strategic plan objectives, the goal of my internship was to really gain and develop experience. As a family science major, I feel like the best thing that you can get from any type of internship is the experience, the hands on experience that shows that you're building skill sets within that area, because this is something that I plan to do for a while. This is something that I plan to do and also receive a graduate's degree in as well. So I wanted for this internship to provide me a strong foundation of the future that I'm preparing myself for. The main objective one of the objectives that I know that I have completed or I feel very well accomplished in was to develop skills in community outreach and engagement to better connect families with relevant resources, and support services. I know that I have completed this objective because through the think tank, I participated in multiple outreach initiatives. We've also had to update and revise the Pocket Pal, which is our personal resource. And we've also completed a resource guide training, which was providing the resources that we have with other individuals so that they may also create and provide their own resources for their communities. I learned about resource navigation and referral support through working or interning with the think tank, because we do a lot of community outreach, we do a lot of networking, and again, we're in a lot of these spaces with other community partners that all share the same goal of spreading awareness of the resources and tackling the discrepancies or crises that we're having within our community. Community engagement and outreach skill development is probably the biggest thing that I have learned here at this internship. We do a lot of community engagement, and I was able to really hone in on my outreach skills by using different methods. We used personal, in person, one on one networking when we would go to like stand down events or the Resiliency Showcase events. And then I would also work with my technology outreach whenever we would do on campus events, or we would try to get people from the campus to be involved in whatever events we have going on. So that was a way for me to also spread awareness. Hey, we're going to be doing this event. We need donations or anything like that. That was another way for me to learn how to use my community and my resources to develop that skill. So the first artifact that I have included is going to be the infographic that I made about community outreach and homelessness. The reason why I included this artifact was because this really broke down what is community outreach, why does it matter, and it also describes community outreach from the lens of a resiliency think tanker. So it explains the role of outreach, especially when dealing with people who are experiencing housing insecurity and who are unhoused, because community outreach is necessarily about providing those resources. You are outreaching to a specific target of people. And it matters because, as we can see with right here with the pit count, we do this every year, the general census, to basically see the population and how many of those are homeless within our designated region. So as we can see based off of the statistics, that the number decreased from 400 in 2017 to 219 in 2026. There is still so much work to do, but when you look at the data, you can tell that over the years, the more and more people that create their nonprofits and that are open and loud about their resources and helping people in their availability, people are getting help and the numbers are going down. I did also take the time read to also write about some of the experiences I've had with the think tank, such as doing outreach at community events. This is also networking, but this is how we spread about ourselves. So, whenever you're in these spaces with these other people who also have resources, it's a beautiful thing to have a conversation about the resources, what services are provided, so you can have a better idea of knowing where to send people for referrals and building that relationship in the community with community partners. Again, like I said, we create flyers and post and share them to social media accounts, and we also attend numerous meetings and events. The second artifact that I decided to put on here was our OUR panel. I believe that this is a great artifact because it highlights all of the work that Resiliency Think Tank is doing. It shows that we have a lot of community outreach, but not only that, that we are actively in our community. We titled it Doing Good Together, Community Collaboration and Impact, because that's the best way to summarize what we do. For this particular event, we did basically excuse me, I apologize. We did depend on the family stress theory, which is A, the stressors, plus B, the resources, plus C, the perception equals X, the crisis intensity. So as you can see on here, we have everything labeled and separated out for which category that it fits into. And with this event, we took a very strong research mindset and we're able to break down each of these events and how we reflected on that. But also from the research standpoint, of why this is important and why it's a factor and what we're doing and how we can use these to grow from them and to continue to spread more awareness while building resiliency. Because by understanding the family stress theory, you're able to take a very good look at what's going on within your community, what's missing, and fill in those gaps to see why is this X, the intensity of the crisis, why is this occurring? A, people have stressors. People go through things. We see that on a daily basis with a lot of our events when we do our needs assessments. We can see the stressors. B, the resources. Are the resources available? Are the resources, again, this comes back to community outreach. Are people aware of the resources? C, the perception. What is the mindset? What is the stigma that's going around with this crisis? Are you pouring good into people? Are you allowing people to see themselves that, hey, you are high and mighty? You are going to get through this. And then that equals to your X, your crisis. I did want to take a moment to reflect about my internship experience. Again, I was able to really, really hone in and strengthen my understanding of community outreach, which is so important to me because that's one of the main things that I was looking forward to from this internship. I learned a lot of really valuable skills and gained a lot of really good hands on experience. And the main thing also was the impact. I with my two eyes, saw the importance of connecting these individuals and families to accessible resources. I saw the instantaneous impact of them knowing that someone in the community has their hands on them and is saying, you're not alone. You're not facing this problem alone. I've created something to help you. Or for me to just say, hey, I understand that what you're going through is very hard. I know someone or a group of people or an organization that can help you and can lead them in the right direction. I did also want to take the time to acknowledge Dr. Janelle White, who is the internship coordinator and assistant professor for family sciences and for the Resiliency Think Tank and for my internship as a whole. Dr. White, I just want to say thank you so much. For one, you are very patient. You brought me into this whole everything because I was not a family science major. I changed my major because Dr. White has a way with words, and she made it feel like that's what I had been looking for. I had the pieces of what I was looking for and what I wanted to do with my life, what direction I wanted to take, but she was able to put it together and give it a name, which was family science. So she introduced me to family science, and she also introduced me to the think tank, which has made me blossom in so many ways that are very unspeakable. I don't think I can give enough gratitude for how thankful I am and how much I appreciate Dr. White for allowing me to take bits of her knowledge, for allowing me to take bits of her guidance and her support, and know that when I am under her, I will always be supported. There is nothing that will limit me with her because she's so smart and so intelligent and very resourceful. She has unwavering trust in me. No matter what it is, she knows, like, she trusts me fully to be able to get it down and to be able to get through it. And I appreciate her so much for that, as well as leadership skills. I had a couple leadership skills growing up when I was in student organizations, but not to this extent where, again, her unwavering trust in me put me in positions to where I took lead on multiple events, and I was the main person of contact for other organizations, and I was the person completely in charge of most events and making sure that everything needed to be done got handled and was effectively communicated with other individuals. And I respect her for that because it allowed me to grow. It put me in a position where the only way I could grow was up. And I respect you so much for that. So I just really want to say thank you so much, Dr. White. And thank you, everyone, for listening to my virtual conference of the time that I've spent with my internship with the think tank. Thank you.
Wow, Makara, thank you for sharing that. What a great video and report for the think tank. We are going to open up for a Q&A session with Makara about her internship and also with the other think tank team members. So I would ask them to turn on their cameras and unmute themselves. And let me get them here. Oh, are you doing that for me, Dr. White? Spotlight. Okay. So our think tank team members, Josiah Boyd, Amy Chapa, Nicara Lloyd, and myself, Nicolette Hamilton. So if you have any questions for any of our think tank members, go ahead and select the raise hand icon. I will call on you to ask your question that is found at the top of your menu. Also, you can find it by selecting Control, Shift, and K at the same time. So let's see if we have any questions from anybody opening up yet. I will kick off a question. Oh, Brianna, I see you. Go ahead.
I was just wondering, you said you changed your major. I was just wondering what was it before and what and how it didn't, I guess, meet your standards to what you were really looking for, and how family studies is, I guess, what you were really wanting to go to. Even if you, I guess, you said you wasn't really sure before Dr. White stepped in and kind of helped or guided you towards it.
That is a wonderful question. So, first coming into university, I was a nursing student. That was very short-lived. After that, wanted to stay within medical or some type of health. So I went to my advisor and I told her, I said, what is the fastest thing I can do to graduate? Like, what is the quickest thing I can do to get a degree that has my name on it? And she said, health sciences. So I was in health science. And as I was in health science, I was just like, these classes are interesting, but it's not it's not going to have any fruition for me because health science itself is not a career. And I knew that I wanted to do something frontline, and I knew I wanted to do something that helps others or that puts me in a position to make impact. And so at the time, I started going to the social work advisor. And I was talking to the social work advising team. I was supposed to graduate originally December of last year. That's when I had changed my major. I changed my major like August, September when I had met Dr. White. So I was talking to the social work department, and they told me that the earliest I would graduate with social work would be spring of 2027. And I was like, oh, wow. That's a bit longer than I was expecting to be here. Let me double check all of my options. Let me just think about it. I had a friend who was already a think tanker, and she had came to me and was like, hey, like, you should apply. So I said, okay, I did. And during my interview for the job with the think tank, that's whenever I was telling Dr. White about my dilemma with I know what type of direction I want to go into, but social work is going to take me a long time. Like, I could honestly just graduate now with my health science degree and then go get a master's in social work in the same amount of time that it would take for me to graduate with a bachelor's degree in social work. And that's when she was like, well, have you ever heard of family science? And I was like, no, I have not. So that's how she introduced me to it. And as we were talking and have a conversation about it, I said, you know what? This sounds like something that is on par with what I want to do. I am still going to go get a graduate degree in social work, but I do believe that family science is a great bachelor undergraduate degree for me to have. That leads me in the right direction and opens up a lot of opportunities for me that will prepare me for a career in social work.
I think that's
Right.
nice how fast you, I guess, connected with. You said you've only switched like a year ago. So
Yes.
yeah, it's cool that you, I guess, found like your, I want to say niche, like where you felt like you belong. Because
Mhm.
sometimes it takes a long time for people to find that. But I think it's cool that you're like going for something that you, in your heart, you know that like this is where I want to be, and how fast you've like connected with it, with the thanks of like Dr. White and other people around you.
Thank you. Yes, I actually did want to mention something earlier because you were speaking about, like having direction in university and feeling like you're kind of pressured to know what you want to do and to already have an idea of the rest of your life when it comes to your academics and your future career and everything. It was actually very hard for me to tell my parents that I wasn't going for nursing anymore because I actually graduated with my associate's degree before I graduated with my high school diploma, and my associate's degree was general studies with a concentration in nursing. So my whole academic line was already tailored towards nursing that I felt like I was letting everybody else down around me whenever I decided to change. And then I felt like I let them down again when it was like I'm supposed to graduate in December. I'm adding on another semester and a half because I keep changing my major. But at the end of the day, when you know your passion and when you find your passion, it's worth it. It's extremely worth it, especially like that one saying they have where it's like, if what you do for work is what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's what it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to feel like, oh, I'm going to work. It's supposed to be, okay, who can I help today? I'm excited. Who am I going to meet? Like it's supposed to be something fun. You're supposed to have a passion for it.
That is great. Okay, we have another question. Shaniqua Lewis, go ahead.
Hi. Awesome. I loved your presentation. It was really, really good. So, my question for you is for a person that would, I am a family science major. Um, for a person that is strictly online, how would I benefit from an internship, even with think tank or just um, at any point? How would I benefit from, or how would I maneuver or maintain being a strictly online student and doing an internship?
So I will say that majority, if not all, of our other resiliency think tank interns were online fully this semester. I think I might have been the only on campus intern that we had through the think tank this semester.
I'll speak on
I,
that. I am fully a remote think tanker, and I have been. My internship was with Think Tank originally last spring, and I was also a virtual participant there. There are challenges with it. However, you still get to participate with the team. And when you can, sometimes you'll attend some on site events that we're doing. However, there's a lot of behind the work that happens, a lot of research that happens, and a lot of data that's collected that you get to analyze and manipulate and come up with information through different types of assessments, needs assessments that we perform or research that we compile together. And so there's plenty of opportunity as non-traditional students and participating virtually. And I see Dr. White. Go ahead.
so I'll add a little bit more about the virtual interns. So for the internship, every intern must complete 120 hours. Normally, you do that with a community partner organization. For those interns who either chose to partner with the Resiliency Think Tank or we found that was their best option, I meet with them at the beginning and we create a strategic plan. All the interns create a strategic plan, but specifically with ours because the think tank is focused on research. So I work with each virtual intern to establish what area of homelessness research they're going to specifically focus on. So this semester we had mental health, maternal health, domestic violence, uh, risk factors, youth development, community resources, and a bunch of others. We had 13 altogether. And so I work with each student to find what they are interested in so they can then dive into it. You know, it's obviously easier to do research when you care about it or when you have an interest in it. And so I worked really hard to try to find areas that would intersect homelessness because that's what the think tank's all about, homelessness and whatever the area is that they're interested in. So that's kind of how we worked it out. Um, this is our third year for the think tank, and so each year it evolves, and we will continue to evolve to meet the needs of different groups of students. So yeah, I'm excited to see what that might look like in the future.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Just checking our chat. No. So this question, I'm going to ask for Amy first and then Joe to follow. How has the research that you've done with your think tank team membership um, correlated with your academic learning pathways and the work that you've done to, I guess, be a part of your academic learning, but also a different kind of new sector that you're working with homelessness?
That's a great question. I would say that a lot of stuff that we do with the think tank like has to do with the family science curriculum. So we learn a lot of the same stuff. I also think for me personally, networking is the most important thing. So we get the opportunity to like meet different people. And so I get to go into all these different worlds of like, what can I do with this family science degree? Um, and like how we could apply that to those different areas.
Just to piggyback off that, for one, please excuse my appearance and tone. It's been a long night. I had to go with my partner to Houston. One of her family members had an emergency surgery, and I got back this morning. Uh, to bounce off of what Amy's saying, I'm actually not a health science major or a hospitalities and human services major. I'm a communications major. So my path working with the think tank was a little bit different. Um, I have had a passion for community service and community outreach events, and I have tailored that into what I want to do after my college experience. This has been an amazing opportunity. We actually had night strike last night, and it was raining a lot, but it was an amazing time. We had an amazing time. But the way that I've connected my course work and my experiences at Lamar to the think tank, I was actually able to write an article about the amazing work that we've been doing with Night Strike. I was able to interview the head honchos of the program and actually just have a sit down with them and explain why and what their mission is and what caused them to do this. And I felt like I was able to connect my experience writing for the university paper to what I was doing with this think tank in order to spread the word about an amazing program and how people can help out with it.
That's great. Joe, do you want to elaborate a little bit on what Night Strike is?
So Night Strike is a community outreach event that we hold in downtown Beaumont at 999 Calder. It's actually a big parking lot that a local business is grateful enough to let us use a portion of. In this place, we have a different groups that, to be honest with you, there's not a whole lot of coordination. It's a group called Night Strike Ministries, and they love to say, "Rain or shine, we're going to be there," and that was put to the test this month. We were facing, I feel like, some pretty high winds and some high water, and we were still out there. But we go out there. The Night Strike Ministries team has a small trailer they set up. They provide food. They do fellowship and ministry and worship for those that want to participate, and they allow other organizations to come out with their tables and their supplies and pass out anything that our homeless neighbors might need to make their life a little bit more comfortable.
Awesome. That's a great reflection. Let me just see if we have any other questions. If not, I'm going to have Amy. I'm going to have you speak on some of your experience and then the projects that you've worked with through Resiliency Think Tank and how they've been impactful for you.
So you want us to speak on like any specific activities or?
Yeah, so you can talk about Henry's Place, Mayor Coalition, Pocket Pal, any other
Okay.
coalitions that you attend, the community outreach engagement networking aspect of it.
Okay, yeah, for sure. As I mentioned previously, networking to me is really important. I really enjoy going to our coalition meetings, like the Southeast Texas Coalition for the Homeless, um, because we get to learn about different like stuff that we don't actually know about. Like there's people of different fields like Goodwill that come, and people from Orange that work with human services, and just all these people from different field experiences, and how we can all come together and create a plan on how we can help our communities. To me, that's really powerful. And it's a lot of that at the coalitions. You just meet so many different people and learn about their experiences and what's going on locally, even beyond local. So we go all the way out to Hardin County. So we learn so many organizations. It's mind blowing. And you learn that people have the same mission, but they have many organizations of that, right? So something that we have been trying to do is learn how do we get multiple organizations to come together and work, because there's like a lack of volunteers, and so that would just be a better usage of resources. What we have noticed. Another favorite thing of mine is like the Absolutely Incredible Kid Day. We did letters for them, for the McKinney-Vento children. Those are children experiencing homelessness. And there's so many different types of homelessness. Like you can be couch surfing, living with some, or double bunking with a family member. So yeah, we give them to those kids and give them like motivation and words of confidence. And Personally, I haven't experienced that, like, fullness of homelessness, like, where you're on the street or whatever, but I have experienced where you double bunk, and it can be hard for a kid. And so, yeah, I felt like that was really relatable, and I really enjoy my experience with the think tank. I think that there's a lot of relatability, even stuff that we don't know. We just learn a whole lot about the world.
Thank you, Amy. Nikara, I see your hand. Go ahead and share what you would like.
Okay, so as Amy was talking, it got me thinking, and I wanted to kind of piggyback off of her just a tad bit, but the biggest, like, I don't know if it's called shocking moment that I've experienced with my internship was how interconnected everybody is. Going to the coalition meetings because before this, my internship or even working with the Resiliency think tank, I've never been this deeply embedded within a community before. Like I've worked with organizations, but never to the extent of a coalition meeting where you see that Goodwill is there, CASA is there, the Department of Family and Protective Services is there. Beaumont ISD is there. The YMCA is there. The Autism Family Services are there. Like all of these organizations, Spindletop is there. Everybody in the community comes together. And I think that that was just so shocking to me because from the outside, you look at them separately. Like, oh, yeah, this is a separate organization. This is another nonprofit. But whenever you see them all together in that room discussing what type of events they're coming up with, discussing what type of needs we need, discussing what type of people, what type of conversations they're having. It's like, wow. Now I really understand it. Community is so important because you see all these different groups together. And it was just that still shocks me to this day that I'm like, wow, I was really in this space with all of these like-minded individuals that still provide their own services and they have their own, resources and their own disciplines. However, they're all here together. And then they're encouraging each other. Like, hey, yeah, we're having an event. I would love for y'all to come by, show some support, bring your resources. Tell the people that tell your friends to tell a friend. And it was a very amazing thing for me to see that, especially in Beaumont, the community in Beaumont, the systems here are very deeply embedded and so interconnected that that was one of the biggest things that I noticed during my internship, that community outreach is not just within the community. It's within your partnerships, it's within your networking relationships, like it's within the people that you collaborate with as well. And I thought that was really interesting.
I love that message. And I will continue that being a virtual think tanker myself. I've been able to implement some of the projects that on campus team members are doing into my own community. I live about 2.5 hours away from Beaumont. And to be able to echo some of the work and the research that's being done there and to implement it here, it's so amazing how transparent the service is from community to community. Resource guides are helpful anywhere and everywhere. So learning how to create an effective one for your area, it's something simple that you can do and give back, or at least find out if there is one. There wasn't one. I could not find one for my local area. My town's about 4,000 people, but they still need food. They still need housing. They still need medical care, mental health care. They still need basic needs met. And sometimes when you're in crisis, it's really hard to feel empowered rather than defeated when you are having a hard time locating these resources. So for us to be able to communicate and network is part key of resource guides and having resource accessibility to our community members. Do we have any questions for our think tank members? Okay, I have one for you. Brianna.
I was just wondering, through these events, have you met anyone you've talked to, like outside of the think tank group, that's impacted you? And I guess, got you thinking about your future in some way?
I will go ahead and answer first. I have. I have made connections with people that I do now follow on social medias, and I've also found job opportunities and was able to make connections for post graduation through some of the organizations and people that I met at coalition meetings or at like especially the resiliency showcases where I got introduced to CASA. So I'm now a CASA advocate, a volunteer for CASA, and I was introduced to them at, an event that we had in the community. So I definitely foster relationships and still build on them and work on them and still network with them because they're very, those people are there in those spaces for a reason. And if you can walk up to them, because that was something that she said to me, she was like, "Wow, I like that you walked up here and you introduced yourself and you told me a little bit about yourself. I would love to work with you." She was asking me about because I was telling her about my degree, and she was like, "That sounds perfect. We have an open position. When do you graduate? I like, how gutsy you are." So, it's a lot of opportunities. You just kind of also have to take initiative most of the time because getting through the door can only do so much for you. You still have to walk around and speak once you're in there. But yeah, I definitely have made multiple meaningful connections and relationships with people.
That was a great question.
I
This is
also
going
want
to
to
be,
say,
yeah,
oh,
go, Amy.
sorry. I just wanted to answer that because that was a really good question. I've met so many great people because of the think tank as well. Like, when you're a part of something like this, people love to hear like your mission and the stuff that you're doing. And so when you tell them that stuff and you invite them or um, you show them like stuff that you're doing, it kind of helps you build connections a little bit better. Um, so yeah, I've met a lot of great people because of the think tank, like at the community fairs that we go to, the resource fairs, the such meetings. But I also want to say that my teammates like Makara, Joe, Nicolette, they are all so inspiring. Like they, um, I know Joe and Makara are younger than me, but I'm like, wow, these young kids like have so much going on and they make the most out of it. Like they are incredible. I don't know where their backgrounds are from, but they're so smart. Like, and Nicolette, she does so much for the think tank. She is virtual. She is like a superpower with doing flyers and websites and all of that stuff. I'm like, I can't wrap my head around it. So I've met so many great people through it. I mean, Dr. White too. She's like, as Makara puts it, a walking encyclopedia. She knows everything. So I think this is really cool to meet people that have a similar type of vision. Even though we all are interested in different things, we all have a mission that we're working towards, and that's really cool to see.
Thank you. That was a very kind reflection. And I have appreciated everybody's skills and talents. We're all from different backgrounds, and that's what makes it so beautiful is we all have something to contribute, and the talents and the love and the passion and compassion that we have that really powers the work that we do. So I'm going to ask this for each team member. We'll start with Kara, then Joe, then Amy, and then I'll follow. With coming to the think tank team, how different is it than what you originally thought it would be?
The think tank was very different actually. I didn't even know what I was signing up for. I really just needed a job. And it blossomed into something a lot more. Um Previously all the jobs that I had before where you clock in, you clock out. You have a weekly schedule, you come in at this time, you leave at this time. The first semester of me joining the think tank, I really had to rely on self-discipline, which is something that I never really, like had to really work on too hard, or I never really just utilized to a certain extent. Because a lot of the work that we did last semester was very hybrid. We would have our on-campus meetings, and again, like the call to actions that I mentioned, that was your time to do the work that you said that you were going to do by the next meeting. This semester we did, add a little bit more structure, so we do have times now. But last semester, first coming into it, I was like, oh, wait, so I really am a leader. Like, I really am in charge of getting these events done. I'm taking lead on this. So I'm the one who's structuring the event. I'm the one who's point of contact. I'm the one who has to make sure that everything is correct and everything is in line and ready for the event to go smoothly. Um, Again, with the self-discipline, I'm in charge of myself, and I'm in charge of the work that I do, because as a team, yes, we work together, but a lot of it is also still my role. So that was the biggest, like, oh wow, joining the think tank for me. Um, I hope I'm answering this question right. I somewhat lost train of thought.
Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there before I ramble.
Okay, Joe, how is the think tank different than what you thought it was going to be?
To be honest, when I joined, I was a little bit worried that it was going to be a lot of talk and not a lot of doing anything. Uh, that's about the opposite of what I wanted. And just the more that I've gone on through this, it's been the exact opposite. And I feel like that's something that's kind of rare in these days. A lot of people just want to talk about it and they want to put in plans that they're not going to enact, and they just want to act like they're doing something or seem like they're doing something. But with this think tank, we've done things. We've helped people. We've gotten to go out and make connections. We've gotten to go out and meet some amazing organizations and let them know that we're a resource for them. We've put together resources for others. We've organized events. We've done feedings. We've done night strike. We've done so many different things. I mean, we got to a point where we were looking back at all the projects that we've done over this year, and we were just like, oh my goodness, how did we even find time? I think it almost averaged out to like 2 events a week or something like that. It was really, truly incredible. And that's something that I don't think I would have fully understand the scope of if you had told me exactly what we had done then when I was applying. Something that I just had to experience firsthand, and I'm so glad I got to.
I love that. It's great. Amy, what about you? How's
Oh
think
man,
tank?
the think tank's so different than what I thought it was going to be. Like, it's evolved so much too. We started off like in a big conference room, and we'd have the little owl camera. And then we went, virtual for a little bit, and then we went to a different room. And so, like, it just evolves. And sometimes we do stuff online, sometimes we do stuff off campus, we do stuff on campus. Um, it's just so different than what I thought it was going to be. I don't know what I thought it was going to be, but definitely not like what we do. I don't mind it. I love it. I love the freedom of like, if we want to go do an event in the morning, then we'll go then. Or if we do it on a weekend and we're free, we could do that. If it's a nighttime event like Night Strike, we could also do that. So it's just so flexible. I love interacting with so many different people. I love representing Lamar. I love just my colleagues. I don't know. I really like Think Tank. It's an interesting job, very different than what I've done before. Um, and you learn a lot too during it. So that's something else. When you usually work a regular job, you don't really get so much out of it. But I feel like I've received so much from this job. Like, it's very different, but I like it. That's the point.
I would say what was different for me than what I thought is I wasn't sure how my role would be, being a part of a team, but virtual. And concerned, about the connection, because when you're in person, there's a different type of connection that you build. But I have not felt any disconnect with my team members. And when I had to step out of my own box, I had to say, well, how can I take that project here where I'm at? So, for example, Absolutely Incredible Kid Day, I pulled in people from my community and said, hey, we're all going to get together and write letters for our McKinney-Vento kids that need some positive affirmations from adults. And it was great. So I did that while they did their events. And then I was able to send the letters into Dr. White to help participate in that. And I was very grateful because typically I don't think I would have thought to do that. I would have just been like, support, yay, y'all are doing great. Let me share flyers, let me help you. But I was like, no, I want to be a part of this too. And that's how I was able to do it. So you just have to get creative, and don't box yourself in. There's no comfort zone, which is something I learned with Dr. White. Just get rid of it. It's not there, it doesn't exist. So that's I guess it's always gonna, ebb and flow. It's gonna be different. It's not ever gonna be what you expect it to be. It's gonna be better, is what I'll say. So I have one last question for Makara, and then I'm going to share some information with y'all after that. Makara, what advice would you give future interns, especially those that are thinking about perhaps joining Resiliency Think Tank or community service organizations?
The main thing I would tell them is to be a sponge. Soak up everything. Like, take every single thing in because this is your experience. Especially if you're doing think tank. Again, Dr. White is very, very knowledgeable, and she's also willing to share knowledge. She's not a gatekeeper. Like, she wants to tell people, she wants to help people and educate people. So please be a sponge and soak up as much as you can because it's all going to matter. It's all very helpful and it all has a meaning behind it and a reason. But I would also just say, like you said, step out of your comfort zone. I've had to step out of my comfort zone multiple times, but it's growth. It's not anything that I'm too uncomfortable with where I don't recognize myself. I'm proud of my growth. I recognize my growth, and I think that it's making me into a better person. But also, you have to allow your experiences to be your own, but also just be very attentive because, especially in this line of work, there are multiple factors and there are multiple things that you can keep an eye on because, again, you will see it again or it will make sense later. But yes, just definitely be a sponge, soak every single thing up, everything. Because like I said again, we have team meetings for 2 hours. Do they really need to be 2 hours? No, but it's because there's so much information that is spread. There is so much that we are being taught. There's so much that we are listening to. There's so much that we are seeing and being brought into that you really just need to soak it all up and take it all in because it's a great experience.
Thank you for sharing that. And thank you to other Think Tank members for being here. We are close to wrapping up our conference, but I do wanted to share that the Think Tank is currently recruiting for interns and for work study individuals and programs. If you are interested, you can email thinktank@lamar.edu. And I'm going to share my screen real quick to have this flyer just for a little visual for fun. Okay, these are our think tankers and talk about community engagement, making difference through the action that we do as a team. So please, if you're interested in the team, you can also follow us on Facebook, Resiliency Think Tank Team, and connect with us there as well. Also, we have a few events coming up. We're going to be helping to build Habitat for Humanity home on May 7th. So that's going to be exciting to have some tangible hard work and experience to provide housing for an individual. Also, we have another event that is a part of one of my service learning projects based off of culture humility. And I will share that flyer with you here, but it's called The Bridges of Belonging. And it's an art showcase that is going to be partnered with the Dishman Art Museum, Lamar University on campus. And let me share that flyer with you. I'll share the think tank flyer and then I'll also share the resiliency flyer. But if you want to scan the QR code there, you can. But if you want to participate as a Lamar University student or alumni or have those that would like to also, I welcome you. Submit your art through May 18th through 22nd. Focus on culture, humility, belonging, humanity, resiliency, what it means to you and how you would want to share that with individuals. It's a great opportunity to have like the emotional impact of what culture, humility means, and also to share that message with others through a unique form through art. I think that can kind of speak to us in different ways. So those are some things that we have coming up. And again, you can find all this information through our Facebook page, Lamar University, Resiliency Think Tank Team. So we're going to come to a close. We've loved spending time with you. Thank you for your questions and for attending and listening to our experiences. Um, we're proud of the family science students and proud of all the work that they've done. And Makara, what you've done as an intern. And Joe, Makara will be graduating in August, and Joe's graduating in a few short weeks. Yay! So you definitely will be leaving some impactful footprints for us. Thank you so much for joining us, and you'll have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
y'all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Goodbye.